Hello everyone, I'm Debbie Polachek. I am Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be using our ink pads to give our cardstock a watercolor background. We'll be using the Floral Essence stamp set to do this, and this is the first sample I did with one. I used Gorgeous Grape, Lemon Lime Twist, Bermuda Bay, and Pear Pizzazz. Coloring on the thick white cardstock that Stampin' Up! Makes. What is good about using this cardstock, it's smooth, and so therefore when you stamp on it, you can see the lines very clearly. And another thing that I used with this is I did that no line look to the card. You can't see the little dark lines around each one of these flowers, so that helps you give it that very watercolor hand-drawn look. So anyway, let's get started. For the project today, I did cut masks out of the Avery removable ID paper. Those links will be below. I cut two of the flower, two of this big flower, and two of these. For the no line look, I think our two pads that would be good for this would be Smoky Slate or Sahara Sand. Today I'm using Lovely Lipstick, Pineapple Punch, Bermuda Bay, and Garden Green. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to just start off by using the stamp set to make a background, and I'm going to be using the mask to cover it up where need be. So basically I'm just start off probably somewhere near the center with my main flower. This flower is going to probably be the only flower that's going to be fully exposed. So now I'll put on my mask. Go ahead and put a leaf or two around it. Cover those up. Everything that you cover up will basically go in front of something else. So now I'm going to start overlapping. I'm going to use the same color as the flowers I'm going to use for the background. And the background is going to be the darkest color. I will be using my aqua painter full with water. And I'm going to tell you when I squeeze it and when I don't. And I use just a very fine mist of water on that. And I probably got too much. Let me do that again. Okay, see, that's one good blob of the lipstick. And I'm going to go ahead. No, I'm going to leave that alone like that is. Now I'm going to take my misting bottle. And I'm just going to I'm going to look for this to bead up, but yet not spread to each other, okay? So that's how much I'm going to put water on there. I missed it right there. So that's very little water. Now I'm going to take my water brush, and I am going to squeeze water in the background here. I'm going to do just a little bit at a time. Pick up this ink and fill it in those areas that I just did. Like I said, this is probably the darkest point of the whole piece except for the center of the flowers. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Kind of wet this down with my, I'm leaving the ink that's in there, but I am squeezing a tiny bit on my aqua painter. To get that water inside of this area here. Okay, now I'm going to grab this, no more squeezing, I'm just going to lay this color in there. You will continue doing the background, all the background spaces the same way. You're looking for values when you watercolor more than anything else. Okay, I think I've got all the places that make sense that are supposed to be background. Looks like this one I went over a part that wasn't supposed to be background, but that's okay. Nobody will ever know. I won't even know once it gets done. So the main things, I don't want to leave any holidays, any white spots on my background at all. On the foreground, you know, where the flowers and stuff are, that's fine. It's particularly on the front flowers, you know, the flowers that, like this group right here is in front of this group here. Particularly on those, I probably would want more highlights than I want on these. So that's my aim going to be next. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and work on the leaves and get that out of the way. And I'll put my red aside because this will be good. Even once it dries out, I can still use it. I'm going to use some green, and I will be using some Bermuda Bay. With this, about the same amount that I did the last time. So I've got it here. So I'm looking for it just to beat up bare a little bit on each one of these colors. Okay. Because this time when I do the painting it on, I'm going to be doing it a little bit differently. So what I'll do is I'll kind of squeeze my pen and get a little bit more water in the center of this. And hopefully you can see through my paper how much more watered down this is than this. Okay, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint the leaves with this color. As you noticed, looks like that pigment, the green has blue and it has green in it the way it's drying. You can see they've got some undertones of blue. Looks like almost the same blue as that one inside of here. Okay. Now I'm going to take the color on the side a little stronger. See, I'm still not squeezing my bottle, but yet there is water in this ink, but I'm not squeezing it. I'm just letting it flow in there, and I'm grabbing some of the darker color and putting it in certain areas like you would shade anything. Okay, so in other words, this will probably be a little bit darker underneath this leaf because it goes behind it. Like this right here goes behind this leaf, so this would be a little bit darker in that area. And it probably would be a little bit darker right at the stems. So now I know that that's where I need to put this little bit darker color. So right the stems, stems, and right behind this leaf here. Just a leaf right there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab back to this lighter version of it and fill that in. Now I can go ahead and go straight to there if I wanted to and do my shading instead of working all the way around. And it will be a little bit where it's next to the flower, underneath the flower, it would be a little bit darker in the back of that too. Now if I wanted to, I can water this down and go back and add some of this blue, but this paint actually had blue in it, so this really is an unnecessary step, but you can go ahead and add a little bit more if you like. Okay, now we're going to go back and I'll grab some of the yellow. And this time I will squirt this just a little, just like before. And I'm going to go ahead and squirt this just a little too because I'm sure it dried out some. Okay. And this time I will go ahead and squeeze some water in here because I'm going to look down. I'm lighting it up now because this is the flower itself. And so I'm squeezing the water in the middle like I did on the green and picking up a lighter version of this. Okay. Let's see where we're at with that. I'm going to start on one of these outside leaves. And what I'll do is I'm going to work the back ones. This is behind this. This is behind this. Look how pretty and pink that is. Then I'll take this and work it behind the leaves, out towards the other side, behind the leaves. See, I'm picking up the darker one now, just like I used in the background, and let that work out. Now I just left the ink in my ink thing, and I'm going to start at the base of this because this is going to be the darkest spot in this petal. So then I'm going to just continue to add water in my brush by squeezing it just a little bit. Okay, now I want to just pick up a little bit of the darker, just a tiny bit, and kind of pounce it in the center of that flower. So that's going to be left lighter on the edges to overlap the flower, the petals over here. Okay, so let's try it again on this one. Same thing. I'm going to work with the back leaves first. Then I'm going to grab the dark on the side, go behind the petals. This is another dark, another light, back leaf. Go behind there. Grab the dark on the sides. Okay. Now these two petals are forward lit petals, so I'm just leaving the ink in my thing, and I'm starting off with that, what that's left, and just squeezing the water to lighten up the petals on the top. Take the darker and pounce it right in the center. Okay, here we go again. Start at the base, work the water out to the end, take the darker and pounce it right in the center. Okay, these are my front flowers, so I probably want those to lighten up a bit. But as this dries in the background, this is getting pretty light too. So this, I think I'm going to go ahead and you do these just like I've been doing before. I'm going to continue to do it the same way. And after a while, you'll get to, the main thing is you want this color to be lighter than the background, okay? And you want this to be kind of equal with the background. Right here at the inside of the flower. Underneath the petals, you want to be a little bit lighter than the background. Okay, so I'm going to completely do what I've done here so far and do all the leaves. And once this dries, then I might need to go back and give the flowers in the background a little bit more shading so they'll go in the distance a little bit more. But we'll see. I'm quite sure that's what's going to need to happen because these look pretty light already. So in other words, I want them to look about like these, and this to look about like these one to look like these. See after it dries where you need to go afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and complete it just like we said, like I've been doing. Some of these spots I know that I'm going to want this darker in here. I know I'm going to want that darker in there. So I'm just kind of picking out some spots that I know that it's going to need to be darker. That I can see now before it dries. Looks like this whole area is going to need to be darker right here for sure. And I'll just take some more ink and add it to it. In here. Okay, at this point I'm going to let that dry and see what I have. And then we'll be adding more shadows when this dries. I'm leaving you a picture on top of the black and white picture that I took. And in that way, if you can't see the values with color, if you change it to black and white, you probably can. Okay, so I know for sure that I've colored this one already, forgetting, but this one, and this one, and this one needed to be darkened. So I will do that now. Now, to me, when I look at it, I still see that this one is a little bit too light, I think, compared to the other one. So I will add a little bit of that pink to there, just to darken it up, just a touch. So I do want this one to show the most for sure. Okay, and I did water down, probably more water than I did originally, just to darken it up. Just put a soft wash across there. Right here. Right here. Now I will dry it again. Since I got that little bit dark there, I'm going to make it a little darker here. I'm going to dry that again and see if that looks better or if I need to do anywhere else. I still hadn't added any of my yellow highlights there yet. And I'm going to just use a very little of this. Just see how that looks in there. I think that's going to work out good. Just a few spots here and there. Doesn't have to be everywhere. Just something to break up the color a little bit. I did squirt that with water too. Okay. To do my little button in the centers of each of these flowers. And I will use full strength of the lovely lipstick. Now when I stamp this, it's going to leave a little bit of white, but that's perfect. I want it to do that, so that's why I left the centers inside white. Now if I wanted to cover this actually in all reality, if I probably should have put the little bit of that real soft pink over it like I did this one, over all the ones in the background, but I didn't. But it's not going to make that much difference because most of it's covered. Do that one again. This one has a little bit of that leaf there, so I probably need to cover that up. Really want to do that, go over that. Okay. So anyway, actually I think I'm going to take a little bit of the pink, very little, and go across these leaves here because I want to tone them down just a bit. Hit it with the stamp right there. Let's see if I can take that off. Well, looks like it lined up pretty good there. Not exactly gone, but it's better than it was. So anyway, I hope you give this a try, and if you will, go ahead and subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Share with your friends, and your comments always help. Thank you. Bye-bye.